freeze. One more clap. New wave, please. Get it, baby. Get that new wave. Real loud clap. All y'all freeze. One more clap. One more clap. Bust y'all, please. Real big clap. Everybody freeze. One more clap. New wave, please. Get it, baby. Get that new wave.
ACP, you see this?
If it ain't official DanaJay, Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it.
Though we don't know what tomorrow will bring us, let's live today. I'm saying just in case. Although we don't know what tomorrow will bring us, let's live today. I'm saying just in case. Dear world, I'm writing this letter, an attempt to make things just a little better. This is about living through life's stormy weather, because the truth is that we're not gonna live forever, and that's my point. Well, let me start with my boy that's doing 15 in the joint. Man, he could hoop, but he loved the street life. Could've went pro, instead he chose the street life. He turned rapper and wrote about the street life, but still could not make it out the street life. And one day he bought a Glock. Wait, now page number 2 will take you to another block. A man and his wife can't get along, all they do is fight. Both too stubborn to apologize, and sometimes it gets so bad they hope each other die. And one day she couldn't take it no more, so she decided to run out of the door. She jumped in the car and swerved off in a rage, and baby I'm sorry was all over mistake. Oh, we don't know what tomorrow will bring us, let's live today. I'm saying just in case. Now that my homie done bought himself a gun, he stuck up some liquor stores, now he's on the run. Do anything to avoid the police, now he's strung out on drugs and life is getting deep. To anyone, he would do anything, give him the chance and he'd steal anything. Next thing he did really screwed up his life, but first let's go back to the husband and wife. Now he's on the phone with his pastor, and she's on the phone with her mother. He tells his pastor, the woman is driving me crazy. Then swore up and down, she's not the same lady. She says, Mama, the man has been treating me so bad ever since we found out that I couldn't have babies. Then Mama says to her, girl, hold on. Pastor says to him, be strong. Oh, we don't know what tomorrow will bring, so let's live today. I'm saying just in case. Although we don't know what tomorrow will bring us, let's live today. Saying just in case. Now there's a warrant out for my boy's arrest, cause he done went and stabbed someone in the chest. Man, them drugs just got him breaking all of the rules now. His face is posted up and all over the news now. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the husband and wife are starting to break down. She says to Mama, maybe I ought to call him. And Mama said, now that's the spirit. He says to Pastor, maybe I should call and say I love her. He say, I'm sure she loves to hear it. Then she gets a call on the other line. It's the doctor saying your test results came back fine. Congrats, girl, you're pregnant. Then she cries, finally a miracle sent from heaven. Now meanwhile, the other side of town, all hell done broke loose and it's going down. Cops chasing Reginald all over town. He's running every red light and driving real wild. Now meanwhile, and this ain't fiction, here is where I need y'all to pay close attention. She's so happy, she calls her husband up. He says, I'm sorry, baby, just as soon as he picks up. She says, I'm sorry too, and I got good news for you. Steve, I'm pregnant and on my way home to you. He jumps for joy, scream hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. While Reginald is still chased by police. She takes the highway, it'll get her there much faster. Reginald on the skyway, chase lasting forever. With the helicopters right over his head, with the searchlights on him. Oh man, now he starts panicking. Rachel's driving, so excited she's not realizing that just a block away, a man is on the run, while the husband's at home praying for a son. And the policeman is screaming for the call. Rachel calls her husband and says, I'm getting close. He says, honey, I'm fixing up something special in the kitchen. And at the same time, Reginald makes a stupid decision. He turns down a one-way street. Then Rachel notices this car coming and yells out, "Please!" Out of control, a senseless mission. Next thing you know, a head-on collision. No, we don't know what tomorrow will bring us. Let's live today. I'm saying just in case.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers and America, a nation reborn. May God be with you all.
I know that there's more for you, more for us.
Children, rain all night long. Didn't it all, oh my Lord, didn't it rain? Didn't it rain, children? Rain all night long. Didn't it all? Didn't it all? Oh, my Lord, didn't it rain?
You can't run from it. You can't deny it. You can't pass it off. It's your call. God knew what he was doing. He knew who he was calling, and he expertly and intricately detailed every aspect of your life, your being, your persona, your psyche, your physicality, everything about you, from the texture of your hair to the color of your eyes to the way that you laugh to the fingerprint on your thumb. Everything is connected to your calling, and until you walk into the fullness of the thing that you were created for, you will find yourself frustrated. You're called.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yo. Gotta sit here and say what's up, man. I sent the notices out. Shout out to everybody that's there. Shout out to the people that's over on Facebook, that's on all over social media, man. Today is not the day that I really want to play around. I'm gonna just jump right into it, man. The Democratic Party is so evil. You can't take a butt whooping. So you follow George Soros and you want to unalive not just a conservative, not just a good person, not just somebody that I know personally, not just somebody that was fighting for truth, but you unalive a Christian. And none of the Christians are speaking out, except for the ones that are sincere about the work of God. You got Jasmine Crockett laughing. I'm going to get into that. You got MSNBC laughing. But a man lost his life doing what the Bible said we all should be doing. And that's getting out and witnessing to people. And he went to a college and was speaking truth. And the evils of the Democratic Party took it upon themselves to shoot him in the neck. I'm going to say it once and I'm going to say it again. I got friends that's on the Democratic side. And today they called me crying and saying, yo, I don't want to do this no more. What up, Shank? What up, rock stars? I got Democratic people who I've been arguing with for a year now. They said, I don't want to do this no more. Because this is not what we stand for. Then I have people that say, it's a shame that Charlie Kirk died. But why are people attaching political parties to this? I'm just going to do this. So it says, and this was yesterday. He said, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him literally. Let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. And it happens. My question is, with all the people there, right? Nobody knows. Nobody's seen. Nobody understands. What happened? Now, I'm not advocating violence. But what happens if Jasmine Crockett mysteriously gets shot and she dies? And everybody go, oh my God, and the Republican Party, the Republican. Listen, what people don't understand is that the Republicans have been pushovers for years, but they too have a generation of misfits that's willing to go ape shit on the Democratic Party. They too have a group of youngins that's about toting that thing. They too have a group that don't mind evaporating the enemy. The game got to change. You assassinate a 31-year-old man for speaking the truth. But let's hear what this press conference gives, which I don't care about because they still haven't caught the guy. Let's go.
And that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans.
No.
With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now. We do.
Person of interest.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Not good enough.
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody? Where? How long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Can you guys talk about the possible shooter?
Do you want to talk about what we know there? Yeah.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing. But we don't have a much better description other than that.
Where did the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair, potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security camera footage you have and the person of interest that's in custody, does that match up?
That's what we're trying to decipher right now.
So did FBI or DHS have anything on the threat board this morning?
I can't speak to that.
I'll just say that the investigation is ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indications of foreign intelligence involved?
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Can you talk a little bit about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise, and what happens on these kind of events?
This volume sucks.
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU, and I'll tell you right now, we're devastated. We're a small police department. We have a very large campus. We have over 40,000 students.
Line.
We love our students. We love our visitors, and we're devastated by what happened today. This is the police chief's nightmare. I'm very saddened for the Kirk family. I know his wife and parents found out about this. Obviously he's away from home. He's here in Utah. They find out by a police officer that visits their home. That's tragic. Nobody wants that. But I can tell you about our venue today. This was an open venue. This was outside. We did have 6 officers working that event. We had probably over 3,000 people that were in attendance.
Y'all out of compliance.
It sat down in kind of a bowl area here on the central campus. We have a waterfall area, and so he was kind of in a lower area, surrounded by buildings. You know, we had some plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd as well. You know, we train for these things, and you think you have things covered, and you know, these things, you know, unfortunately, they happen. You try to get your bases covered, and unfortunately today we didn't. And because of that, we had this tragic incident. So we did have officers there. We had Charlie Kirk's team. He has a security team that travels with him, and they were here with him when he was shot.
Was the gun recovered?
I'm sorry, see?
Was the weapon recovered?
At this point, I can't disclose that.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, there was a question being asked about mass shooting. Was that person apprehended, and do you know who asked that question?
Say that question again. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, he was answering a question about mass shootings specifically. Was that person apprehended, and do you know who asked that question?
I do not. We do not have that at this moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for just one more question, so thank you.
Yeah, a question for the chief as well.
This sounds like a true cover up.
Kirk's team or a combination of both that kind of set the security protocol for the event?
So we work together. You know, he has his team, and they do this all over the country. We all know that. This is not uncommon for them. They're very comfortable on campuses, and I was coordinating with his lead security guy, and so yeah, we were working together.
Was this a sharpshooter type shot? Was this a
Ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions that will be answered today. Again, thank you for covering this. We will be updating you as soon as we have additional information through normal channels, working with law enforcement. Again, our deepest condolences to the Kirk family and to the students who were there today. I would just ask everyone everywhere to please pray for their family and to pray for our country. We need it now more than ever. Thank you.
No, we want justice. We want justice.
To our
So
media partners, we will be sending a release out with updates through one channel of information, whether it's DPS or FBI. So please make sure that you fill out the Google form with updates specific to this incident. Thank you.
So one thing I'm gonna tell you all is this right here. When you really look at the truth at what's going on, Charlie Kirk was a man of God. He fought against all things that wasn't for God. That's what he fought against. Transgenderism, he fought against it all, right? So he's speaking his truth, and he's giving you biblical principles behind it. Never getting into arguments behind nothing. Just telling basic facts. Something that a lot of these preachers are scared to do nowadays. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask a question. When you put together Pride Month, what do you get? It's a hitting word in them two words. And when you combine them together, what do you get? And I'm not trying to preach to nobody, because Lord knows I have flaws beyond the world, honestly. I'm not trying to preach to nobody, because I'm flawed. However, When you put pride and month together, what do you get out of it? Queen B, all of us was cool with Kirk. Charlie was a good guy. Just seen him. Just had his detail down here. And when he came to do his little campaign, it hurt. And when people talk about, oh, you can't attach the Democratic Party, who else is doing it? When you speak out against demons, demons going to retaliate. That's why the good Lord said the kingdom of heaven suffered violence and the violent got to take it back by force. So now that they threw the first blow, right? They threw the first blow. What happens when MAGA responds? Are we some cult people then? Or better yet, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. So I asked the question, when you put pride and month together, what do you get? I want to know. When you put pride and month together and to join one word, there's a one root word of why God said you shouldn't play with certain things because everything have demons attached to them. So I'm just going to say it. Thank you, Asaya. When you put pride and month together, you can't help but to serve a demon. You can't help but to serve a demon. And I'm not saying everybody that celebrates pride or whatever their pride is a demon. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that enough is enough. So what happens if MAGA want to get upset and Jasmine Crockett goes speaking and she just so happens some hot ones come raining? Then what happens then? I even had somebody say, Charlie Kirk hate black people. And I just had to look at it and I said, look at the ignorance of this. I had somebody tell me, oh, black people always been here. Black people always been here. Really? And then I just be like, y'all so ignorant. Because Charlie hung around indigenous and colored folks the most. So can you tell me how he hate colored folks or indigenous folks? Because let's be real, I hate niggas and I hate black people. And I'm going to tell you why. Because black, the shade right here, is not living. It can't talk. It can't do nothing. The shade black means death. So for all the stupid older folks that spit rhetoric, black is never a color. It's a shade. And guess what else is a shade? White. So while y'all saying the white people, the black people, y'all sound stupid. Because if you really want to be technical, the original black people were the Caucasians that came from the Caucasus Mountains. Go do your research. But then you got, and we all have them, because I got some step and fetching friends too. And especially I got some in Baltimore. I got some step and fetching friends too. You feel me? Where, oh, if they our color, they don't do no wrong. They the main ones to rob you. The main ones. The quick ones. Don't pull no race card out to me, nigga. Let's talk facts. Get out emotions. Jasmine Crockett came out and said, it's just a normal unaliving. When that illegal alien unalived that young lady from Ukraine on a train. But then you want me to feel sorry for a nigga like George Floyd, who got his neck stepped on by a Caucasian person. Now here's the twist. You so quick to run and holler Black Lives Matter for that, right? But what happens when Jamal go unalive Corey and they both the same color? Where the fuck is Black Lives Matter at then? I'm so sick of you black racist motherfuckers. And the first thing y'all say, black people can't be racist. You're a lie. First of all, you don't know who you are. So you bound to go to the side that you think is right. Instead of going to the side that is right. My question is, the Stephen Fetchums, where were y'all at? The Jamal Bryants, the Al Sharptons, the Michael Baisdens. Where were y'all at? The fake pastors. Why y'all not at these colleges preaching salvation? But Charlie Kirk was. And it costed him his life with him going to save people or trying to get people saved or trying to get people to see what the real aspect of the Lord says. Today makes me so sick that I'm almost ready to ask for a civil war. I got people lined up already. Because y'all a bunch of Stephen Fetchums. Y'all a bunch of Sambos. But you know what they say? No, Dana, you the Sambo because you rock with Trump. So I got a question. I got a real question. You said Trump was an evil man because he wanted to make America great again. Nobody else wanted to make America great again except for Trump. So Trump can't be for the American people because he wanted to make America great again. If Shank was here, Shank would be like, cook, Dana. Well, I had to go in the archives. Because one of y'all favorite presidents was also trying to make America great again, too. Let's talk. I'm just saying. I'm just letting some facts out. And since the facts are out, matter of fact, I'm going to play it again. Hold on. Hold on. Because I want y'all to see this. I want y'all to see how ignorant people are because they don't like a certain individual. They don't have a reason why they don't like them, but they just don't like them because grandma and them don't like them. Hey, Tanil, Auntie Pookie and them said don't like them, so we not going to like them. You better go do your own research, because Bill Clinton was mainly saying,
Together we can make America great again.
Now, is that racist when he says it? I just want to know.
I believe that together we can make America great again.
Now, is that...
So now here's my question. Where's the problem? Everybody got something to say, but where's the problem? But where's the problem? The problem is you. And just like my president said, today is unexcusable. There's no way Charlie Kirk should have been shot and unalived at a college campus that have that many people or students there. That means y'all were out of ratio, and that also means that you didn't have enough people to cover the event. Which means what? Somebody about to get sued. But suing is not going to bring Charlie back. Suing is not going to bring Charlie back. So now here's the thing. Are you going to run around and say guns kill people now? This is crazy. And I'm going to tell you now, it's not going to go the way y'all people think it's going to go. It's not going to be taken lightly. It ain't going to be none of that. So if y'all thinking, that this is going to be taken lightly, you got another thing coming. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this. What I'm about to show, and see, I got to realize I cannot go that far. I can't go that far. I can't go that far. Because going that far is just going to show how you can get Dana. It's not right. But look at this. It's all good until we return the favor. Look at this.
Gone. I have no issue with it. The clown always comes back to bite. But why do y'all keep aiming for the wrong niggas? Aim higher. Aim higher. Well, I just saw the video of Charlie Kirk getting his box boomed. I mean, boomed, bitch, like gone. I have no issue with it. The clown always comes back to bite. But why do y'all keep aiming for the wrong niggas? Aim higher. Aim higher.
And as always, and see, and it's all, and as always, oh, Dennis even put something up there. History does repeat itself. Words of the American legend. Chickens coming home to roost. Okay. Right. And this is what he put up a week ago. No civilization has ever collapsed because it prays too much, but a civilization that abandons God will deteriorate and ultimately collapse from the inside out, or because it loses their will to repel a malicious external force. So a lot of people is in loss right now. A lot of people is in loss. And like a true president, he spoke. He said, the animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine, who came to America searching for peace and safety, should be given a quick, there's no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty. There can be no other option. President Donald Trump. And I don't have no doubt that he feels the same way about the person that unalived Charlie Kirk. However, I see a lot of people talking, a lot of people happy, a lot of people is congratulating. And it's supposed to be cool. It's supposed to be cool. Let's watch a little bit of this.
News panel up, and we can see that there is a lot of coverage about this. And you may have seen the footage. And we just pause to pray for Charlie. May he rest in peace, and for his family, his wife, his daughters, all of his friends, and everybody who is impacted by his work and his movement. And we'll keep our eye on what's coming out. You can see Turning Point just came out with the statement. They said it's with a heavy heart that we confirm that Kirk has been murdered by a gunshot. We ask everyone to keep his family and loved ones in our prayers, and we ask that you please respect their privacy and dignity at this time. And so, as you can see, they're getting ready to tell us what the latest is on this. And we want to know what is happening because the shooter apparently is still at large. And we've got a lot of reaction. There's been an outpouring of love for Charlie and his family and for all their efforts from people all over the world. And it is a beautiful thing to watch. We've got reaction from the media that is largely disgusting. We'll go through that. We also had some stuff happening in Congress today. And we're keeping our eye on what's happening on the cables. Now, this is what Fox News Live has for us. They're talking to AOC. I don't really care what she has to say right now. The president posted this. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. And flags are going to half-mast until Sunday. In honor of Charlie Kirk, a truly great American patriot, I am ordering all Americans' flags throughout the United States lowered to half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. AP has the latest updates for us. Over here. Shooter still at large. This was earlier when he was in critical condition. Now he's been shot and killed. One of the final photos before an assassin's bullet exploded his neck right in front of his wife and kids. I believe his one kid was there at least. Charlie Kirk Close ally to Trump and more, killed. Death was announced on social media from Trump. The suspected shooter has not been arrested. Mayor said, a person who was taken into custody by law enforcement at the university where Kirk was speaking was not the suspect. And there were a bunch of videos going around of some dude who got arrested and he was invoking his right to remain silent and all the things. And so many people thought it was him, but it wasn't. The person is still at large. Videos posted to social media show Kirk speaking into the microphone. Single shot rings out. Kirk is seen reaching up. We're not going to play the video here, but you should see it so you know what we're dealing with and recognize the evil that is out there. Charlie Kirk was an innocent man having a political conversation and someone shot him in the neck. The AP was able to confirm videos were taken at the Sorensen Center at the Utah Valley University campus. He was speaking at a debate hosted by a nonprofit political organization, and he was taking questions literally before the shooting about mass shootings and gun violence. Let's just check in with the cables and see what's happening over here, because it looks like Laura Ingram is doing some reporting now.
No, these young people mean business, and they are on fire with their faith, returning to family, becoming more serious about what America is now and what she should be in the future. So he was on our show.
Marjorie Taylor Greene over here.
Even people that didn't agree with him would come, ask questions, even argue with him. He was always about the debate, and Charlie Kirk was never for violence. And to see him murdered in such a graphic way in front of the camera, and that video is too gruesome. Honestly, I hope it gets taken down. I don't think his wife or children one day should ever see it. I really hope it gets taken down. But
it's horrible.
I'm at a loss for words, and I'm not often at a loss for words.
How concerned are you about your own safety in the wake of this attack? I mean, you know, he's a giant on the right. You were a giant on the right.
Yeah, he had asked me that too.
One victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual.
What? He's still large?
This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who's struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information. Thank you.
I thought Cash just said they got him.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the FBI, we extend our sincerest condolences to the family and friends of Charlie Kirk. Our thoughts are also with the people who witnessed this traumatic event. We know that what you experienced was very difficult. Our thoughts are with you as well. As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake field office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to this investigation, including tactical, operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get
that. Yeah, literally. Democrats, lots of them. And lots of views. A lot of them probably would like it if they could. Omar says, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. And then he posts this picture of this smiling dog. Because I guess what is the big thing going to be? You're going to execute somebody? You're going to murder and assassinate somebody? Because you're a coward? Let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So people are flagging the FBI on that. Check this out, FBI. Go get this dude. I'm sure Bondi is on it. Tiffany says this guy protected his thing. And I don't want to say it's this guy because he's non-binary, whatever it is. They, them. Non-binary goat of all time. I'm 17. Is that a Mexican flag? Get out of here. You're kidding me. What a shocker. So if that is him or somebody connected to him, right? Now the posts are protected and goes to Utah Valley University. Yeah. And it appears people are now saying the shooter was on the roof. See, there's a video of the shooter who they're thinking was on there. And there's other video of somebody running across the roof. And, it's not a close shot. Got to get on the roof. You got to bypass a bunch of security. I mean, was this more of a professional individual? Or is this a crazed teenager? Or something? I don't know. But it's a strange situation. And it would be very, very surreal if Charlie Kirk, in the middle of a question about trans shooters, was shot by a trans shooter. And maybe that was a tag team. Maybe the person came up to ask the question. Once that question got called, there was the bullet. So it's
2025 IRS tax forgiveness now has open enrollment.
Talking about this in a repulsive way. And here's just a couple of clips from some of the highlights from our scumbag media. We're up volume. Let me make sure we got the volume situation over here. Oh, Chip Roy's out. Let's listen to Chip Roy for a second, see what he has to say.
We're here for something bigger, greater than all of ourselves. Charlie Lippin tweeted out 3 days ago about his faith.
Let's wait a minute.
I think that was another audio that we also have going on. And I don't know where that one is. I'm going to have to figure that one out. Oh, yeah, it's over here. All right, so let's check out what the cables have to say and see what's happening here.
Is to kill them. And it's just not, even third
Steve
world
Scalise,
countries,
you
you
got
don't see
shot.
that. It shouldn't happen.
We're going to be careful. We're not going to characterize the ideology or the motive. We know there's a subject in custody, a person dressed in black. The
What's the
shot
motive?
came from a roof. But you can extrapolate from that it's one shot. It's an assassination bullet meant for some reason.
Yeah.
What's the reason you see?
To
Well,
kill
it's clear
Charlie.
that it was, as the governor depicted, a political assassination.
Yeah.
When you have somebody at a distance on a rooftop, whether it was 200 yards away, but, clearly a high-powered rifle in one shot, meaning they were intending to take out Charlie. And it's alarming. Again, it angers you, it disgusts you. But there's no doubt that was the intention. We will find out more. I'm glad the FBI is working so closely with law enforcement and they're moving swiftly to get answers and ultimately to bring those responsible to justice.
I said to Laura earlier that this moment feels different. It feels like a kind of a big moment.
Yeah.
And I
Sure
don't
does.
know what's next. What do you see? I mean, you work across the aisle up on Capitol Hill. There's a lot of pointed elbows. But there's also a lot of vitriol around the country. At this moment, what do you think the message should be to America?
You have to
Well, the
defeat
message
them.
should be, number one, let's look in the mirror for sure, and everybody ought to know, like, what makes our country great is that we do have political differences and we can express them.
Yeah. Posted about this article, which shows that the Democrats have a much higher predisposition to literally murdering Republicans. And we've already seen this, right? It's a suicidal ideology. They bring in illegal aliens to rape and murder our people. They release criminals from jails to slice women's necks wide open in the middle of a metro. They force you to lock down and comply with their mandates, or else Democrats, there's plurality polls and majority polls with a list of things that they would be acceptable with. If you don't get the jab, a majority of Democrats, if I remember the poll right, said you should be denied medical care. If you get in a car accident and you're bleeding out, do you have your Vax card on you? No? Well, then you should just die. Oh, many of them thought that. Many of them thought you should be rounded up and put in jail. Then they censor you. Then when you react to being censored and you protest for 4 hours and have a riot, then they come out and weaponize the entire whole of government to come after you and lock you down. So why are we seeking reconciliation with this party and these people and not just outright defeat? Okay, you can't reason with them anymore. They'll just shoot you, and they'll shoot you in the back. They'll shoot you in the neck. They'll be like cowardly judges who go talk to the media. These people will win at all costs. And now they're shooting people in the neck. And so I'm for calm. I don't want any political violence. I do support the prayers and all the thoughts and things like that. But I hope our friggin' Republicans wake up and recognize who they're playing with, because they've been doing this for generations, brainwashing the youth into accepting affirmative action, accepting trans ideology and DEI nonsense. And you just have to sit and take it. All of us have to just sit here and take it. And then you've got morons like Barack Obama gaslighting the entire Democratic Party. I wonder why it happened. And many of them will say the same thing. Many of them are actually gleeful and giddy. I haven't pulled up a lot of it, but there's a lot of anonymous accounts, man, over on Reddit and various places who are giddy as heck because this happened. How can you reconcile or have any negotiations with a party like that? And it's really a sad state of affairs that we have gotten to this position in this country. But they started shooting CEOs. They shot Trump in the head. They shot and killed Charlie Kirk. And we're not supposed to do anything. We're just supposed to be calm and just kind of, oh, just catch your breath, okay? And everything's going to be fine tomorrow. We are tired of it. We've been screaming for indictments of some of the criminals who enable all of this. We want the financial networks discovered, all the billionaires who are funding this, all the George Soros crap that creates these disgusting ideologies to percolate in our countries. We're in charge. We have all the power now. And so the Republicans should use it to end this demonic political party peacefully and politically. But here is their ideology. Here, Powerline put this. Let's kill the Republicans. It's been a while since Democrats have assassinated a Republican president, but they assassinated Charlie Kirk. But that peaceful interlude may be ending soon. You have likely heard of a survey report by the Network Contagion Research Institute and Rutgers about examining growing tolerance for violence in American society, or on America's left. Here's an excerpt. Political violence targeting Trump and Elon is becoming increasingly normalized. Following the July 13th attempted assassination of Trump, tolerance and even advocacy for political violence appears to have surged. And people like Taylor Lorenz are enabling it. Every time they come out like, you're a Nazi and you're literally killing people. Remember with all their stochastic terrorism and things? Like if you're a terrorist and you're killing trans people, then the trans people are justified in shooting you in the neck, is their argument. Well, Charlie's not killing anybody. He's making a public policy argument and having a conversation about a very prescient issue in America. But it all has surged. Now, this is a broader trend, and it's surging amongst the left. Because did you think that they were going to go quietly into the good night? Of course not. They're not going to give up power. They weaponize the entire apparatus to go after fellow Americans. Half the country, Joe Biden came out and said, you're all going to have a winter of misery or death unless you do what I tell you to do. From the gates of hell, outside on the military compound, wherever that was. They have been tried to imprison Trump multiple times, tried to bankrupt him, tried to throw him off the ballot. They censored the hell out of all of us. They arrested and put solitary confinement on a bunch of J6ers who were there peacefully protesting or had crimes that were akin to trespassing, like at a local bar. They arrested the abortion people, the school teachers. They went crazy and they lost. And we're all just like, well, I guess we're in charge now. And I guess they'll just like give us power and they'll just allow us to execute our agenda. No, not at all. We've got a judicial coup happening. We've got cowardly judges talking to the media, hiding under anonymity so that Trump cannot even get them recused from his cases. We have a judicial insurrection. We've got enablement of murders. Media doesn't want to talk about if Arena gets hacked to death by an inconvenient raced person. And now Charlie Kirk, Barack Obama has no idea why this stuff's happening. They must be defeated. It's just that simple because this is what they think. Here's justification for murder of Elon and Trump. Left of center for Trump, according to this survey, 55% of them said it's justified to murder Trump. The percent who say destroying Tesla dealerships is partially acceptable, 57.6%. How do you negotiate and reason with these people? They'll kill you. They'll kill you. We saw it today, literally. This chart, and I don't know who did it. So I'm sure they'll come out, the shooter, they'll come out, hey, he's a Republican. He voted for Trump or something like that, right? And you say, well, that's weird. And they'll try to spin it. But whatever comes out, we know what the motive was. Did Charlie Kirk owe him some money? Did Charlie Kirk cut him off on the way to the grocery store or something like that? Is that why he came on the roof and shot him in the neck? Or was it a political assassination? We know what it was, but they are such propagandists, they won't talk about it in the same way. And so we have to do it, and we have to stand firm and hold attention here. So again, perceived justification for the murder of Trump. So in summation, among those who say that they are slightly liberal or farther to the left, 9% think the murder of Elon would be completely justified. 13% say it would be completely justified to eliminate Trump. And so pretty much 29% of those who say there are liberals are pretty much okay with murdering Elon, okay, almost a third, and over a third, 41%, nearly half, are okay with murdering Trump. This was in April. This was a report that came over from Rutgers, University's Social Perception Lab, noting we're in uncharted territory, and now we have political assassinations happening here. And it's a scary situation that is developing. And the question is, who are we going to let take the reins on this madness? And so we've got most of the clips here that we've covered. I think we got that one. And shooting the gun off, we got that one. Yeah, and so here's another one from MSNBC saying that Trump's just going to exploit this. Charlie Kirk, just like with Arena, MAGA is going to latch on to this horrific assassination, this horrific murder, a race crime against Arena, a political assassination against Charlie Kirk. And Trump's just going to like call for more law enforcement or something like that and just exploit Charlie's death rather than acknowledging it for what it is. Here's this lady. I mean, she's just must be filled with evil. Katie Tur.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
I hope it's justification for waging political war on the Democratic Party, investigating all of their networks, all the funding of these deranged ideologies that result in this insane perversion of the mind of the Democratic Party. They're nuts. They've got TDS on the brain. And they just now apparently are okay with shooting and eliminating people. And even Jasmine Crockett will shout F-bombs on the floor of the Senate, of the House of Representatives. And so that's some of the updates here today, my friends. Let's check back in on the cables and see what's cooking over here.
Or if an atheist wants to march alongside of us to say no men and female sports, they're more than welcome to be able to do that. But Atheists for Liberty is an interesting phrase because I don't believe you can have liberty without God, because liberty is not man's idea, it is God's idea. That's just my own personal belief, and it's also...
Absolutely right.
Charlie did not just talk, though. He acted because he had the guts, he had the drive, he had the focus to go out there day after day, night after night, and fight for what he believed in. Now, the threats on his personal safety were well known. He knew them, but he wouldn't stop because he believed that being with people in public, especially on college campuses, talking with conservatives, debating liberals, it made conservatism fun and exciting again. And he died today, taken by an assassin's bullet, doing what God put him on this earth to do.
It's true.
I said it with Brett earlier, and he and I were both crying in our offices and embracing. A lot of people around here are. The word came to me, irreplaceable. He was irreplaceable. And I believe he was murdered, and you heard the governor talk about this at the press conference earlier. He was murdered because he was so effective at what he did.
Yep.
He was a modern-day evangelist. And while so many adults, they can roll their eyes at Gen X or Y or Z, Charlie saw the promise in young people today.
Comment down there.
His enthusiasm for the future, I found it personally infectious. And I believe that no one other than Donald Trump himself in recent memory has had a more profound effect on the political thinking of young Americans than Charlie did. Now, a few months ago, my son, my 15-year-old son, Nico, was watching something on the computer when we were on a flight. He was supposed to be reading, of course. So I was annoyed at him. I looked over. Then I saw it was a Charlie Kirk video. So, of course, I took a photo of it and I sent it to Charlie, and he and I got a big kick out of it.
Explain why they were wrong and MAGA was right. Nobody was better. It's such a tragic day. Ugh, it's true. Yeah, it's true. And so turning point will march on. And I think many people are saying this might be a turning point in America because Charlie Kirk has basically been martyred for the cause in front of all of us. The organization operates a national field program, and they have, lost an icon. European leaders are also reacting. Nigel Farage, he said, "This is a very dark day for American democracy. I am desperately sad for Charlie, his wife, and his children." Leaders from across Europe also offered their condolences. Boris Johnson said, "He has been killed for saying things that used to be simple common sense." Thank you, Boris. "He has been killed because he had the courage to stand up publicly for reasonable opinions held by millions and millions of ordinary people in both the US and Britain. The world has a shining new martyr to free speech." Wow. The leader of the Reform Party, Nigel, said, "This is a very dark day." We read that one. Georgia Maloney said this. She was shocked by the tragedy. "I'm shocked by the news of the killing of Charlie Kirk, a young and followed Republican activist. An atrocious murder, a deep wound for democracy, and for those who believe in freedom. My condolences to his family, to his loved ones, and to the American conservative community." Thank you, Georgia Maloney, for your well wishes. Keir Starmer also said the same thing. Foreign leaders across the world, okay, are shouting out Charlie Kirk if you have any questions about his impact. "My thoughts this evening are with the loved ones of Charlie Kirk. It is heartbreaking that a young family has been robbed of a father and husband. We all must be free to debate openly and freely without fear." Rich, coming from the UK. "There can be no justification for political violence." Yeah. They don't even like their own flag. So we've seen people get arrested there for flying their flags. So we're very happy to see that. But as I was explaining earlier, there's a humanitarian component to this, and there's a political component to this. And you can, live in the different layers and bounce between the layers, right? Many of us are going to go through the stages of grief. I've basically accelerated right to anger, whatever that phase is. I did go through denial. I thought, there's no way. What? Then you saw the video. But there's a political layer and there's a tactical layer. And I don't know who shot Charlie. I don't know what this was. But they took out a major player in the movement, right? So it's a political conversation, of course. They didn't like his ideology. They didn't like the things that he had to say, his prescriptions for public policy. They don't like that. That's one thing. But targeting and taking out essentially your star quarterback or something, right, is a tactical attack, which elevates everything. It's not a crazy person, as far as we know. I mean, this was a guy with a rifle on a roof who made a shot. That was a tactical assassination. It's a little bit different than just random violence. Who's behind this tactical assassination of Charlie Kirk? And who pushed this interest forward? I hope we find out. So we got another update. Looks like Fox News just gave us a post up here. Let's see. Travelers are sobbing in the airports. George Bush is out. Bush condemns the shooting. He calls it cold-blooded murder and calls for civility. All right. Well, just get along with the other side who just assassinated one of your top leaders. Former President Bush condemned the fatal shooting, calling it a cold-blooded murder on a college campus, but wants Americans to reject violence. We just got shot in the neck, bro. And embrace civility. So we should just be happy if our side gets shot in the neck. Civility, right? How about express your outrage, right? Peacefully. Peacefully express your outrage. Because that's what they said to the Black Lives Matter people. Remember that? They said, "Oh, go out and protest." We had statements from them constantly about how you were going to survive COVID as long as you were fighting for Black lives or whatever that was. saying you stand up. Protesters should keep going. Okay, when they go low, we kick them. Remember all that kind of crap from Holder, Kamala, and the rest of them. Maxine Waters, get in their faces. All of these things, right? That's how they play. And when the Democrats are out here slitting throats on metros and shooting necks wide open, then we're supposed to respond with civility? You want me to just sit here and say, okay, everybody, just be calm now. What are you talking about? This is our country. We're at a precipice. This is a turning point, and we're tired of it happening. And our feckless, whiny Republicans all coming out and telling us to just shut up and stay calm. He was murdered in cold blood. Who did it? Who enabled it, George? It happened on a college campus where the open exchange of opposing ideas should be sacrosanct, and it isn't. Violence and vitriol must be purged from the public square. How are we supposed to do that, George? Are we supposed to just ask them nicely to stop murdering our people?
I can't take no more of that. However,
this is just wrong, and my heart goes out to his family, to his friends, but we just cannot be a country that turns to violence when we disagree. We just can't.
What can Congress do about it, Senator?
Well, one thing Congress can do is gun safety, and every time there's a killing, the Republicans say this is not the time to talk about gun safety, and yet we have to. As a nation, we have more gun deaths than most other nations, and we don't keep our children, our friends, our neighbors safe by just putting ordinary gun safety rules in place. You know, I just want to say this coming from Massachusetts. If the rest of the country would just follow the rules we follow in Massachusetts, we could reduce fatalities all over this country. And plenty of people who are hunters and who use guns for sport still have lots of activities in Massachusetts. But at least we make it a little tougher to use guns for harming other human beings.
What do you say to people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperature, stop talking about things and, you know,
right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States?
Here we go.
Right? And every ugly meme he has posted and every ugly word. He is the leader of this nation. And I think that when he's posting things like he did just a couple of days ago, trying to show an entire city on fire, and a reference to helicopters, in effect, throwing people out of helicopters and showing himself as some kind of big chest-beating threat, then I just don't want to hear this from the Republicans.
Do you think politicians on both sides have a role to play here, though, in trying to turn the rhetoric down?
I think what we have to say is, A, violence is not the answer, and we are willing to take steps so that violence in this country is not so lethal. Do we have a single Republican who will stand up and join us following the school shooting out in Denver at the same time? School shootings happen every single day. They have become commonplace in this country. It's hard now to actually get attention when someone has been...
I like the way the Democrats try to switch it. This is bullshit.
Congress could change that and should change that.
I just asked Senator Cassidy that same question before you, and he said Congress can't change the heart of a man.
You can change whether or not they have a lethal weapon in their hands, and the likelihood that they will be able to kill another person or to kill themselves goes up if they have a lethal weapon. It's just, those are the facts. And Republicans want to turn their backs on that.
Anything can be a lethal
because it's
weapon.
more politically expedient, but they are not making anybody safer.
A lot of people are saying that political violence has no place in our country, but it clearly does have some place in our country.
Fact of life now.
Is it just a fact of life now that there's this
I don't want it to be a fact of life, and that's what we have to keep saying. We have to keep saying no violence, but we also need to back it up with actions. And backing it up with actions means just taking some modest steps for gun safety. And remember here, most of America agrees with us on modest steps on gun safety, on things like background checks. This is what America wants to do to protect our children. And yet, The Republican Party, just as they bend a knee to Donald Trump, bends a knee to a gun industry that continues to make money by stirring everyone up and making sure that everyone has access to every possible lethal weapon. And that puts all of us at risk. It puts our children at risk. It puts leaders at risk. And that's a real mistake for our country.
Senator Warren, do you feel safe given all this violence?
How can anybody feel safe today? I worry when I send my grandchildren off to school. Who doesn't? If you're alive and breathing in the United States right now, you understand that the risks have simply escalated. And the United States Congress could act, and so far simply refuses.
So what they saying is Trump turned up the temperature and forced us to shoot at him and kill Charlie Kirk. I promise you, there's a time, and I know it's people on my Facebook now talking about that's not the way. Yeah, it is the way. And the only way is retaliation. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I don't care how nobody feel. That's the way I feel. But not too long ago, Charlie Kirk talked about his stump with witches. And it went like this.
Doctors in the house.
This is a true story. I mentioned this on my show and the media ridiculed me. I said I came here with this church once and I talked about how, you know, transgenderism is from the pit of hell, and I talked about how we should not allow the innocent to be massacred in the womb, and 3 people stood up and I wasn't sure what they were doing. And I got super sick at that very moment, and they were doing all sorts of weird things. And you know this if you live here, there's a very strange, like, shaman witch culture thing. And the media came after, oh, Charlie Kirk claims he was hexed at a church. 100% true. My team will say, and hey, the land of enchantment strikes again. Let's just put it that way. But not tonight, not today, Satan. Jesus is going to work.
Yeah. There was some witch doctors in the house.
This is a true story. I mentioned this on.
So Charlie was going around the country, right? And the name of his tour was You're Being Brainwashed Tour. And with the tour, he was trying to, you know, help people from being brainwashed by the Democratic Party, right? So check this out. This is how it went.
I was born as a man, and now I'm a woman.
Okay, no, but you don't become a woman just because you dress like a woman. So let me ask you a question. If I wear a disguise or a costume, do I become that thing? For example, if I dress with a sombrero and start talking with a Mexican accent, do I then become that culture?
No, because that's different race.
Okay,
that's
but then wait, why? How is it different? Because you're saying that if you dress a certain way and you present a certain way, you can be as you think you are. Why can't I also just choose what culture I am?
Because you're born within a culture, you're born with.
But you were born as a man. So what is a woman?
What is a woman is whatever you want to be.
So anyone can be a woman?
Yeah.
So do you get a period?
No. Well, actually, yes. So, no.
Wow. Can you give birth?
No.
So a woman can be whatever you want it to be. Is that correct?
Yeah, but cis women can also be and have all of those
so
things.
Under that logic, can I become a bobcat or a giraffe?
I mean, if you want me to call you a bobcat, sure. I don't care.
So at some point, don't you see that it's probably a bad idea to give people the ability to identify whatever they want as just because they feel a certain way?
Why would it be a bad thing?
Well, shouldn't we have some sort of objective truth that male and female differences and distinctions matter?
I just want to say I'm a transgender male. What age should kids be able to get things like hormone therapy? Because I don't know what's true, what's not.
Tell me, are you comfortable telling me your story?
I've known that since like 3rd grade, and I'm currently 19, almost 20. I've known basically since then. I didn't start going by like a different name until 7th and 8th grade. I just don't know, like with the whole medical stuff, like what's true, what's not, what's helpful, because I've heard so many different opinions.
First of all, thank you so much for that.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm going to have an opinion that very few people will ever tell you. which is I want you to be very cautious putting drugs into your system in the pursuit of changing your body. I instead encourage you to work on what's going on in your brain first. I think what you need first and foremost is just a diagnosis. Just someone that is going to listen to what you've gone through, listen to what else is going on. My prayer for you, and again, very few people will say this, I actually want to see you be comfortable in how you were born.
Yeah.
I know that you might not feel that way, but I think that is something that you can achieve. I think that with the right team and the right people, you don't have to wage war on your body. You can learn to love your body.
I don't like your t-shirt. I'm an immigrant. I don't understand why you would want to deport some of my friends and family who have been working hard in this country.
What's your name? Sorry.
I'm Claudio, sir.
Yeah, Claudio. And this is just a thought exercise, but it's very revealing. You are king, and you find out that there are 30 million uninvited people in your country. What do you do with them?
I try to find the most humane way of sending them back to our country. But first of all, I want to say...
That's what we're doing.
Wait.
That's what we're doing. So what country did you emigrate from?
Are you going to like discriminate against me?
No, I'm going to do the opposite, actually.
I'm Mexican.
But you came here legally, correct?
I did.
You followed the rules. The people that you know didn't follow the rules.
True.
So I divide America not into Hispanic and white, into rule follower and rule breaker.
Yeah.
And so when someone breaks our rules, there must be justice done. And the most humane way is you go back to your country of origin.
Some of my boys, like, they're being like persecuted, like back home, them and their families, like they're like in like drug related like wars and violence. And the only way out is if they escape and they break the American law. But that's the only way they're going to survive.
If that is correct, we have a special asylum status that they could seek legally at a port of entry, that they could go through a whole process.
Yeah, but if they're being persecuted, wouldn't it be justified to cut the line?
No. If we all of a sudden say that if you have a lot of gang violence and issues, I mean, like, we have a lot of gang violence and issues. Like, what are we talking about here?
True.
You have to draw the line. If your plane is going down, what do they tell you to do first? You put your mask on first. It's the same way as a country. We need to put our own oxygen mask on first, and then we can worry about helping other people. We're honored to be partnering with the Alan Jackson Ministries, and today I want to point you to their podcast. It's called Culture and Christianity, the Alan Jackson Podcast. What makes it unique is Pastor Alan's biblical perspective. He takes the truth from the Bible and applies it to issues that we're facing today: gender confusion, abortion, immigration, Doge, Trump, and the White House, issues in the church. He doesn't just discuss the problems. In every episode, he gives practical things we can do to make a difference. His guests have incredible expertise and powerful testimonies. Each episode will make you recognize the power of your faith and how God can use your life to impact our world today. The Culture and Christianity podcast is informative and encouraging. You could find it on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Alan Jackson Ministries is working hard to bring biblical truth back into our culture. You can find the Culture and Christianity podcast, sermons, and other thought-provoking teachings on our Pastor Alan's YouTube channel at Alan Jackson Ministries. It's a big crowd for California. All right, you guys know how it works. We're going to do questions for a couple hours here. If I really like your answer, you get a hat. We'll be signing hats as well, and God bless you guys. We're going to have a great time. Thank you. Okay, hello, yes.
Hello, my name is Yardo. I have a small YouTube channel. I'm a political commentator as well, much smaller than you are. I just wanted to thank everybody at Turning Point USA, USD for having this debate. And also, I would thank the Turning Point USA, San Diego State, because they gave a voice to one of my dear friends who was a victim at the October 7th Nova Music Festival, and his name is Amit Muzai. I really appreciate that you guys did that, and you have my sincere gratitude. I'd also like to quickly state that this is a message for the far left first, and then we'll get into what I highly disagree with you about. But I just read Hassan Piker's New York Times article where he claims that he did not stifle free speech in his chat. I do not believe that's true because I was banned multiple times for having a simple disagreement with him. That is one thing on the right that you guys do far better, is not creating echo chambers, and this is a complete amazing thing that you guys are doing right now. And I just want to let you know, right now, Hassan Piker, I will donate $5,000 to Palestine if you debate me. Now, and I 100% mean that, and I will make sure that that is as public as possible. My question for you, Charlie, is I just want to make it clear, I am against affirmative action. Of course, I do not believe, as a disabled person myself, I do not believe that affirmative action is the entirety of what DEI entails. That being said, I would be fine with DEI gotten rid of if it meant like a true meritocracy in the United States. But why would I trust Donald Trump to create a meritocracy when he himself has appointed the least accomplished and the least, essentially, yeah, perfect word, the least accomplished cabinet in U.S. history, at least in my opinion. If you disagree, I can explain why I feel that way.
Well, first of all, one thing doesn't have to do with the other, but I'm going to reject the premise that it's the least qualified cabinet ever, so we could talk about that. But even if it was just Donald Trump picking his family members, it has nothing to do with the merits of DEI or getting rid of DEI, right? So that's a red herring. They actually have nothing one to do with the other. One's a repeal of a policy. One is your critique of a cabinet. So which one would you rather debate? Would you rather debate DEI and all of its implications or Trump's cabinet? It seems like you have more problems with Trump's cabinet because we actually might be on the same side of meritocracy. So want to talk about the cabinet? Whichever you prefer.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Right.
I personally don't see it as a red herring, but we can talk about that.
Well,
sure.
yeah, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, right? I mean, you can personally have hypocrisy in your own life and still do really good things in policy, right? It doesn't necessarily equate, right?
Well, I mean, in the way that I see it is that when a lot of people talk about, like when they're talking about their choice to vote for Kamala or Trump instead of Kamala, they talk about the personal aspects of Donald Trump that make them want to trust him, right? A lot of people trust him. You can see the way that people look. I mean, everybody's wearing the MAGA hats. People trust him. Why would I trust him?
Okay. So yeah, that is your contention. So yeah. What about his cabinet is unqualified? Let me just ask you a couple examples. So, I mean, Scott Bessent, who's one of the most accomplished bond salesmen and individuals in the hedge fund space ever, right? That's not unqualified. Pete Hegseth, who's actually a frontline warfighter, unlike Lloyd Austin, who never fought a war in his life, right? We have Kristi Noem, who was an accomplished congresswoman and governor from a major state running Department of Homeland Security. You have Howard Lutnick, who's a very famous and well-known financial mind and titan from Wall Street running Cantor Fitzgerald. Marco Rubio, who was a very well-respected U.S. Senator on Foreign Affairs, who's now doing a great job as Secretary of State. So build out your argument why you think this cabinet is unqualified. Seems to me very, very qualified, actually, across the board.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with, I mean, this is the most obvious one, and I have many other examples that I'd like to get into, but Pete Hegseth, you mentioned, I think that is kind of, I don't really understand why you would mention somebody that leaked war chats to a liberal journalist. To me, that doesn't seem like the kind of person that I would want to be.
Well, hold on, time out. He did not leak it. First of all,
he added the person.
The person
to the
who
chat.
actually is responsible was just removed as national security advisor today.
Oh, you mean the person who was the fall guy for Pete Hegseth's problem?
No, he added somebody without his knowledge. But fine.
Okay, so why wouldn't he see him? Why wouldn't he see the person who's in the chat before talking about war policy?
So, time out. Just so we're clear, I'm sure you've been added to group chats with 30 or 40 people sometimes, and you enter in with trust that every acronym is actually a government official. Obviously, that will not happen again. Just so we're clear, Signal was an approved chat by the Biden administration. It's an approved secure channel by
I'm not talking shit
government.
on Signal.
However, time out. Let me ask a question about Pete Hegseth. Would you rather have a warfighter or a bureaucrat run the United States military?
I would rather have somebody that doesn't have a history of alcoholism. I'd rather have somebody that I mean, realistically.
Wow. So do you think how about Mark Milley and Lloyd Austin, were they better at running the U.S. military than Pete Hegseth?
I mean, I think you're going to probably start talking about how there's higher enlistment numbers.
Yeah,
under
not only
Pete
that.
Hegseth.
So recruitment in the military is up majorly. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. He's doing a pretty good job. Number two, procurement. We're saving money. Estimates are that we'll save hundreds of billions of dollars in efficiency. War games are up. The amount of war games we're doing in the Southeast Pacific has increased by 30%. This is a military town here in San Diego. They have a massive increase in people wanting to join the Navy, want to join the military. That wasn't happening under Biden. The morale is actually 30 points higher now that Pete Hegseth, a warfighter's warfighter, is running the U.S. military.
We have a complete difference. We're never going to agree on this.
No, but not an agree, but show me, then prove the evidence. What is one number that is worse with the U.S. military now that Pete Hegseth's in control.
The numbers that you're talking about are numbers that I actually actively do not care about, because I think that we have an overly powerful military, and I think too much of our money goes to the military.
No, I know, but like, tell me one thing he's done, like numerically, like empirically, judge his performance, right? What is one thing that you could say, wow, the Pentagon is in a worst place because of Pete Hegseth?
I would say his inconsistent foreign policy, where he backs on statements depending on whether or not Donald Trump has heard them or not. Like in the beginning, we were talking about what happened with Ukraine and Russia. Like they've had disagreements already within the first like couple months of the administration.
What? But first of all, the president is the commander-in-chief, so he executes the running of the military.
I'm just saying that
he's the operationals manager, right?
I understand that.
And so when you want a military, you have recruitment going up, you have war games going up, you have morale going up. You have, by the way, how about this? Do you agree that physical fitness standards for men and women should be the same in the U.S. military?
Yes.
Pete Hegseth is to thank for that. He has brought physical fitness standards to be the same for men and women. Lloyd Austin didn't do that. Mark Milley didn't do that. Do you also agree that we should not have like transgender pronoun type policing of our military members on the front lines of combat?
See, the thing is
Pete Hegseth has gotten rid of all that, but I'm saying you're trying to make a contention that he's not qualified.
Okay.
The military is in a much better place thanks to him only after 100 days, man. And that's that is the weakest example of all the ones that you have in the cabinet. You didn't address Rubio, you didn't address Noem, you didn't address Bessent, you didn't address Lutnick, you didn't address Bobby Kennedy, you didn't address all these people. So I have to ask you a question.
I can continue addressing people.
But every one of these departments is in a substantially and an empirically better place than it was.
Okay, including the Department of Education that's been completely defunded, and somebody who literally.
I'm so glad it's being defunded.
Okay, I bet you are, but guess what? Most Americans aren't, and that's the reality.
Wrong. Donald Trump.
Okay, yeah, just because you have a bunch of people here saying that doesn't mean that's the reality.
Let me prove it to you. Donald Trump ran on a pledge to get rid of the Department of Education. We can agree with that?
No,
yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. He won a popular vote. The vast majority of people voted knowing that the Department of Education was going to get eliminated.
If you truly believe that the vast majority of people were educated enough about the fact of Donald Trump's opinion on the
voters aren't very smart. Now that's what we're going after.
No, I'm simply just responding to what you said. What you said is
insult the voters. They don't know.
No, I know a lot of people that voted for Trump who had absolutely no idea that he was going to defund the. And of course, this is just an anecdote, but I know that this is the truth. Not everybody, when they vote, looks at every single little thing and every little aspect, like you and I might, of why we would vote for somebody. Like we're both political commentators.
Right. Fine. And as a political commentator, then I will argue more forcefully against you, because now you're not just like a college kid searching for this. Has education in America improved or gotten worse since the Department of Education was formed?
It has literally been 3 months. I have absolutely
since the Department of Education was formed in the 70s. We now have 50 years of evidence. Has American education gotten better since we've had a Department of Education, or has it gotten worse?
I personally don't think that has to do with the Department of Education.
Well, when you've spent over $4.5 trillion with one federal department, and we have 30 schools in Chicago where a fifth grader cannot read at grade level. We have 35 schools in Baltimore where kids cannot do math or reading at grade level. We cannot find a single school, not a single school in downtown Detroit, where by the time they graduate high school in the heavily black areas, that they're proficient in reading or math. We are now like 31st in the industrialized world of education. We spend more in education than almost any other country per capita, and yet our results are worse. Maybe it's because we've sent all this money to D.C. to overly centralize the way we educate, and the Department of Education has been a complete disaster. And so we can go anywhere you want with this discussion.
I'm just going to say one more thing about this, and we can move on. And thank you for talking to me for this long. I really appreciate it. But you're talking about like people that are coming from poor backgrounds where education in their families is not a part of the way that they're raised. Of course, they're going to be the ones that have a lower.
No, that's not correct. You
I
see,
highly doubt it.
The competing Catholic schools in the same area that do it for 2/3 less money. Almost all the kids can read by the time they graduate middle school.
And where does that money come from?
Well, sometimes from charter schools, taxpayers, or from private donors. So take, for example, in downtown Chicago or downtown Philadelphia, the private Catholic school can educate a kid for around $12,000 a year. Philadelphia, it's about $30,000 a year, and none of the kids can read. So the local religious schools They have kids that are less likely to be unruly, less likely to commit crimes. They're more likely to graduate high school and college. They can read and they could do math. And yet the local public school spends triple what the local Catholic school does, and they can't do any of that stuff. Why? Because a government-run program of education has been a failure in this country, and that's what President Trump is doing by abolishing the Department of Education.
Okay, so how, if there's no public, I'm not saying that the public education system is perfect. I'm saying that having, I think the privatization of public things in general is bad, and obviously that's a very...
Why would you say that? So, I mean that's just, we can go through the list of that, but...
Because it's not, because getting rid of, for example, DEI, or getting rid of, and again, I'm not super pro-DEI.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in California. I'll put it that way.
I'll try to apply it to yours. So, like, where?
Okay, I grew up in one of the most expensive towns in California.
Okay, Montecito. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, something like that. I don't want to talk because I'm a political commentator. I'm not saying my name, but I will tell you.
Fine, but
that seeing that we had three 82-inch TVs in my school for a public school, when other kids in Compton had absolutely nothing, and I know a big part of that is because...
why is that? It's property taxes, right? And so, yes. However, let's just get down to the core of it, which is that in San Diego, are the private schools or the public schools more desirable?
It's kind of complicated because we have charter schools that are public, we have like High Tech High. We have
people pay money to go to private school, right? For a reason. So what is our perspective? The money should follow the child. You should have school choice. You should be able to go to whatever the school of your choosing, and it works super well.
But the good private schools that you talk about these ones in Chicago with cherry-picked data. When we're talking about San Diego, they cost about $40,000 a year.
It's not cherry-picked data.
It is cherry-picked data. Talking about a single example of a Catholic school that's publicly funded or funded by donors.
There's hundreds of these examples.
Okay,
right?
hundreds of these examples, but the reality is that the majority of them, you have to pay an exorbitant amount of money in order to get into them.
Right. So then what per pupil in San Diego, what do you think they charge per student in the public school? Anywhere between $25,000 to $35,000.
I have no idea, and I don't think that it has anything to do with the debate we're having.
No, it has everything to do with it. And I'll just close with this. So there's 21 million people that work for the government in this country, 11 million education. 11 million in education. How many of the 11 million do you think are teachers?
I see, you're just coming up. Look,
no, it's super.
Can you repeat your question? Because I thought we were going to continue, because we barely talked about anything I want to talk about.
Well, no, I mean, we did freewheeling. That's what this is, right? So there's 11 million people that work in education in America. How many would you guess are teachers?
I'm assuming that it's very bloated, and I'm just going to guess that 2 million are teachers.
Yeah, it's about 2 to 3. It's like 3.5 to 4 million. So that means that 7 million people that work in education are unnecessary administrators and paper pushers. And why is that important? Because we've not been funding teachers or education the last 30 years. We've been funding unnecessarily bureaucracy in our education the last 30 or 40 years. And President Trump goes to abolish it. Thank you for your time. I got to get to the next question. Thank you. Hello.
Hi. My name's Ellie. Overall, just to go into my question, I am conservative. So going into this, I was like, what should I ask you about? I think overall, I was going through different policies, and in general, I agree. Ultimately, I think the topic of my question is how to approach politics in school and in general with this function. I've found that a lot of times, when I talk to people who are on the other side of me, they are surprised to find out what I think, and my ideas are not that crazy. It's like, when you actually get into the meat of it, it's like, oh, actually, maybe it does make sense. And so I think it's really valuable to start giving these ideas to the world. And so this is one of these options, but I guess my question is this the best way? Because when I hear, for example, on Reddit, they're like, don't approach him, don't do this, he's just doing that, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's using all these tactics. And so I wonder if you've considered, not to say that this is a bad way to go about it, but if there's maybe a slightly better way, because I think what you're saying has a lot of value in this world, but it's in this school specifically, it is thought of as evil and as not a valid way to think.
That's a UC San Diego problem, not a Charlie Kirk problem, right?
No, and it's not, and it's not to say it's a problem of you. No.
And I mean, and I read there was some op-ed journalists where they said, ignore Charlie, ignore him. Well, what they're saying is that they are not either smart enough or they're not intellectually mature enough to have a discussion with a conservative on any issue. I have literally almost no notes I have like a couple charts to show you if the topics come up. You guys can use AI, you guys can use Grok, you could do whatever you want. You
Yeah.
could bring a professor, you could bring 5 of your top libs together, debate me, right?
Yeah.
Do I, other side? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And you guys can debate me at any time. I fail to understand why, well, actually, I know the reason. Speech is not a left-wing value. And they do not believe in freedom of speech. They believe in totalitarian control. There are exceptions to that. So if they have a problem, I think this is one of the best ways, not the best way. I literally could not be more open to disagreement. I say if you disagree, you go to the front of the line.
Yeah.
And I mean, how often do you as conservatives get a chance to challenge liberals on campus, right? And being welcomed, ever?
Oh, absolutely, almost never. Definitely
Because
not in
speech is not a
class.
left-wing value.
No, but to say that, I mean, with all of that being said, it is very true. But ultimately, what happens here is I see a lot of, like, the ideas just being, like, bubbled against. And so, like, when I talk to my friends, their ideas aren't changed from these conversations. And so I wonder if there's just, like, a...
You would be surprised. I'm sorry to interrupt. What happens here gets seen hundreds of millions of times on social
absolutely,
media.
yes.
The crowds are growing. And so, look, some people are going to remain closed-minded. They're not going to, have their horizons open. But that's on them, right? They have to actually want to pursue the truth and not just have their own worldview confirmed.
And then I guess that's where I disagree, because I think fundamentally there is truth within anything, and I believe that maybe I would ask
I'm 51.
I want to be clear that like law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay? That is what they're supposed to do. They are supposed to solve crimes, not necessarily prevent them from happening per se.
Jasmine Crockett, exceeding expectations for Jasmine Crockett there. Of course we want the police to prevent crimes. Why do we have them patrolling the streets in the first place? And by the way, one reason you want to arrest criminals and put them away is so they can't commit crimes in the future, therefore preventing future violent offenses. Once the crime has been committed, by the way, that's a failure. Even if you hunt down the perpetrator, and it's very difficult oftentimes to get the perpetrator. In the city of Chicago, for instance, only 1 out of 7 violent crimes results in an arrest, and the rate has been declining over time. That's not how the system is supposed to work. That's not success. But Jasmine Crockett, unfortunately, exemplifies the absurdities that too many on the left are beholden to on the issues of crime and policing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sitting up there talking and y'all couldn't hear me. Oh, my bad. What I said was, for all the MAGA folks, y'all know what we need to do. And we need to keep Charlie Kirk word and for the ideology going strong. We can't let that stop us. For the Republican Party, and I ain't talking about the rhinos, for the Republican Party, time to step up, prosecute these Democrats. But then I have to say this. I put up a post where I said all Democrats must go. But now I got to walk back my words because every Democrat is not bad. I've came across some great Democrats that I don't mind debating, that I would even go in office with because of how they feel and how they, and what they stand for. Even though we on both sides, even though we on two sides of the aisle. For the rhinos, just go do what y'all do, man. I'm going to say this. MAGA, we hurting right now. We hurting to see him being carried out like that. We hurting. This reminds me, and I wasn't born during this time, but this reminds me of the tale that I was told about Malcolm X. He was only speaking. At a school. And they wanted you to believe that the Nation of Islam took out Malcolm X. But when you realize that it was no bullet holes from below, they all came from up top, which means the FBI was involved. We living in sick time. We living in sick days. Protect yourself. If you don't know how to shoot, have somebody take you to the range and learn how to shoot. But before you go shooting, learn how to assemble and take apart a firearm. Understand the difference between a firearm, a long range gun, and an assault rifle or an assault handgun. Know the difference. Learn your bullet fragments. Learn the difference between a 38 snub nose, a 9mm, but a 9mm, what is that I'm looking for? Oh man. I don't want to call it that. But anyway, a 9mm protective vest destroyer. I'm gonna put it like that. Hood niggas will say it's called a C, but it's called the CK. Nah, I ain't doing that. Learn the difference between those two and a 5.56 or a 5.52. Learn the difference between why a gun is heavy and why a gun is light. Is it kickback or is it not kickback? Because guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people. And it's time out for that. As bad as I want to go all in, and I used an analogy of Jasmine Crockett. Why? Because she's the loudest thing over there. And the Democratic Party. But let's just look at the narrative. If a Caucasian Republican unalived Jasmine Crockett, the news will be flooded with stuff. But because it was a MAGA member that was unalived after the Democratic Party posted or people from the Democratic Party posted statements like this idiot right here. This Democratic professor in Chicago, Illinois, posted this. Just hours after his murder, refers to Charlie Kirk as a rich white genocidal maniac. This is the same professor that tweeted on the morning of October the 7th Hamas attack, "Good morning, freedom." And then they tagged Laura Loomer. But she said, or in this country on black people, unhoused people, protesters, trans people, and any other category except rich white genocidal maniac. So then underneath it say, the same people who say political violence has no place in this country have no problem enacting political violence on the global south. Facts. Facts. So when people start talking and they start saying, "Oh no, Dana," wow, really? We have a right to be mad about that. And then when people say, "Well, Dana, you shouldn't say that because it's not a political party that did this. It was an act of a law." Listen, before you start talking, go do your research. Go do your research. Why? Because the Democrats in Congress just booed for saying a prayer for Charlie Kirk. I'm not kidding. These are satanic demons from hell. They're evil. And I hate every last one of these scumbag lowlife effing losers. How can you boo a man that lost his life for doing the right thing for God? But wait. But I got one better. Where the pastors at? And this is the reason why you see the great falling away from the church. Because back in the day, you would see the pastors hit the streets. Nah, but y'all Gucci ain't gonna hold up if you hit the streets. Y'all Louis Vuitton ain't gonna hold up. Y'all offering money to go trick off with ain't gonna hold up. Y'all red bottoms ain't gonna hold up. However, China just released a bombshell about 6 months ago. Everything we wearing over here is fake. So you paying all that money for a designer just for it to come from China. Make that make sense. But the Democrats in Congress. So wait a minute. I don't see no Democratic person saying the Democrats were wrong for doing this. I don't see not one. I don't see not one that say they wrong for doing this. Oh, shucks. They just gave me a new tool to play with. Uh-oh. Yeah. So when I want to go nuclear on some stuff, I'm just going to go to members only. Listen, get your membership over here because you never know when I'm going to turn this members only on. Go get your membership over here. And my membership don't cost a lot. I'm going to have to go back in and see what memberships I got to do. But man, thank you to the Yankees, man. I'm just Now hold on.
And they're taking away.
Now hold on. They say here is the leader of the left responding to Charlie Kirk's assassination only after threatening 2 U.S. Supreme Court justices in the consequence of a violent attack from an angry left. You will pay the price. You won't know what hit you. Watch this. Why Senator Chuck Schumer is not being arrested for inciting violence on Charlie Kirk? Y'all did it to Trump about J6, right? When Trump said, we can march peacefully and patriotically and let our voices be heard. No violence. Let's listen to what Chucky say.
And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. And they're taking.
That sound like an insurrection to me. That sound like an insurrection to me. Why can't we keep the same energy with Chuck Schumer, with Jasmine Crockett, and the rest of these idiots? If you want to say Trump incited an insurrection, which we all know that Antifa was the ones that came to insult and the one that insurrect everything. And Antifa is a subsidy of the Ku Klux Klan, which is a direct subsidy of the Democratic Party. Just like they are the communists. Oh, which you mean, Dana? Dana, don't say that. So that flag, that looked like the Dukes of Hazzard flag, that to this day still being woven by the Democratic Party. But you want me to believe that it's the Republican Party and the ones that really push forth the effort to free the slaves back in the day, and now but have a president that's trying to make America great again so we don't have to depend on no other countries and we can go and depend on ourselves. You want me to believe that he's the enemy? You want me to believe that the orange man who's telling you, let's pray, who's putting prayer back in school, who's telling y'all that I want to give y'all back the country. But you want me to believe the David Copperfields of the Democratic Party that run and want to tell you this is a republic. I mean, this is a democracy. When for years, God damn it, when we say the Pledge of Allegiance, we don't speak of a goddaggone Democratic Party. We don't speak on a democracy. We speak on facts, and the facts is I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and unto the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The stuff that we took for granted back in school means a whole hell of a lot when you go learn the facts. Oh, I don't like Trump. Trump a bad person. Trump ain't become a bad person until he said, I want to run for president. And before then, everybody loved Trump, including your hating ass mama. Let's call facts. The problem is Trump is an anomaly. He is what the Democratic Party built up, and then he looked and said, I'm going Republican. And they say, oh no, he know too many secrets. If he go Republican, they gonna let everything out. And we gonna lose our slaves. Uh-oh, I thought you said slavery ended on 4th of July. Wake up, people. Slavery for our color was Juneteenth. So why you still celebrate 4th of July? The problem is now the veil has been opened. Now, I'm going to listen to this, but I ain't going to take too much more because I get upset. So hold on. See, that's the evil stuff that I be talking about. And I'm just saying, because people would tell me, well, Dana, stop that. Don't go that hard. Don't say that. That's not of God. So I got a question. Why are y'all so quiet? Where the Christians at? Or do you got to be of color to be a Christian just for you to talk, just before you be talked about? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to stand on this. A lot of you folks are fake, and y'all don't want the truth. A lot of you folks are scared of the truth. And as long as y'all folks are scared of the truth, I'm going to go out and I'm going to pump the truth. At the end of the day, Myron Gaines, when you see this, bro, hit me up, bro. Hit me up. Do not counsel nothing. We ain't going to let these folks scare none of us from what our calling is. Don't counsel nothing. Because ain't no pastors out here doing it. And I'm going to say this. For the very small few pastors that's out here with the boots on the ground, I commend y'all. I commend y'all. But all you other op pastors that just want to sit in a church and hide behind walls and not speak life wherever you go, close your church. Close your church. Now what I want to see is Stephen Fetch and Jamal Bryant come out here and give a response. I bet he won't. But he'll go to Chicago and try to walk with the half of unions because the unions stand with Trump. Y'all crazy. I'm going to say this and I'm about to go. Listen, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. A lot of these people are bamboozled and hoodwinked, and I can't wait for the day that EBS come. I'm ready for the 10 days of darkness. And I think people should unload, unpack, sit back, and reprogram yourself to what's really going on. You can have a political opponent unalived, and now you can't find them. You got somebody in question, but you come out and say, we know he wasn't a shooter. So what is he in question for? Because you all are behind it. And I'll look you in your face and tell you the same thing. The Democratic Party have never been for the people. But the people are so stuck on what they used to that they scared of the unknown. With that being said, take it how you want it. I'm not apologizing for nothing I said. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. DanaJay out. 1.
Now they won't overbook me. I was down bad, I shook it. Ain't nobody gave shit to me. I took it. Might as well put shit since they looked it. Why this? Do you know how long it took it? Why this? And I take too long to book it. How shit even smell what I'm cooking? Cause the time I book, time. I'm not glad I told you. So book. I was okay for the heart. Yeah, book. It's like a break trying to get me fed up. Bitch, I'm book. Turn around, turned up on both the niggas. But thought I was local, they. Now they spitting up dope with niggas. That's what I told the niggas. I'ma need that deposit up front. Nigga, that's 2,500. Yesterday ain't the same price today. Nigga can't afford me no way. Can I get a S? Nigga, stop sitting stress. But I'm out here studying no business. Bitch, book busy and I'm blessed. Niggas broke talking about who the best. Who the ghost sticking notes all over my desk. I was saved by the bell like I missed the bell. They hate to tell the nigga you failed. Poppin', plus this ice on me. All my pockets swell. I'm up and thank you very much. I'm going out like Elvis.
I want to thank everybody that follows me. I want to thank everybody that donated. I want to thank everybody that's there. I want to thank everybody that really understand what's going on. I even want to thank the people who don't know what's going on. I urge you to go and find out what's going on. But for the people that's really down that really know, go get the Busta Rhymes Extinction Level Event 2 album and listen all the way through it. I'm out.
Let me say it again. Out of all I've been through, I'm still should I be lied on, mistreated, talked about and abused, but I'm still